that on. And we'll start and we'll wait for Councillor Shaw to come in later. So apologies for absence.
Councillor Golding.
Councillor Golding, thank you very much. Can I sign? Oh, there's no minutes for me to sign this time. Okay. My members of Section 106 of the Local Government Act, if you need to declare that, and obviously of any disclosures of interest. I don't know whether anybody's got any disclosures of interest or not. Business not covered by the current forward plan, general exception. There's none, and there's none that's special urgency. No references from committees, no recommendations from scrutiny, and no petitions. So we move on to the meat of the agenda, which is the revenue budget report. Over to yourself, Rob.
Thank you, Hazel. Yeah, I'd like to take both reports together within this briefing. The purpose of the budget report is to set out the final revenue budget and capital programme and to recommend to full council alongside the council tax resolution. Furthermore, the Treasury Management Strategy is also recommended to full council since the council is required by legislation to consider and approve strategies for both Treasury management and investment every year. Both reports have been to the January Executive and the January Finance Review Group Committee, from which no feedback or recommendations were received. Feedback from the engagement exercise with Luton State stakeholders will be covered within the full council budget report at the meeting on the 20th of February. Did not have the information until earlier today, but all the information we have on the engagement, there's nothing significant about the savings in relation to the budget. The key points, it's been a challenging year due to a number of economic pressures, namely the inflationary increases during 22, leading to the cost of living crisis, which the council has addressed within the budget for 23-24. Notwithstanding these pressures, the council has managed to provide a balanced budget. The report is recommended for full council, where it's expected that a full debate can be held. On that basis, I propose the recommendations in the report as laid down in the Revenue and Capital Budget Report on page 6, recommendations 1B, and recommendations on the B side there. Thank you, Chair.
Rob, are there any questions on the budget? Okay, are we happy to approve that to go to council? Very much. Item 9, the Treasury Management Strategy. Sorry?
So Rob took both 8 and 9.
Oh, did you do that? Sorry, I apologise. Are there any questions on the Treasury Management? Happy to approve that? Thank you very much. And we move over to Tom with the HRA.
Yes, Chair. For a rent increase of 5%, the government's recommendation.
Oh,
Sorry.
Aslan needs to declare an interest.
A rent increase of 5%, the government's recommendation 7%, we don't need it. You don't need it, it's the HRA.
He doesn't really.
You don't need to.
Sorry, Tom.
Just to clarify,
Carry on.
just to clarify, Chair, it's the HRA, so it doesn't have any impact on private landlords.
Yeah, okay. It's better people are careful, isn't it? Yeah.
Right.
Right, do you want to start again?
Yeah. Our recommendation will be 5%. The government's recommendation is up to 7%. We don't believe we need that at the moment. Our business plan balances out nicely at 5%. It allows us to extras on top of that 5% is if you go to page 21. On page 21, you'll see a paragraph there about putting an extra £1.50 on the service charges in shelter blocks to fetch. The officers don't like to call them wardens, but I'm old-fashioned. I'll still call them wardens to fetch people back into each shelter block. We'll be able to give benefit advice, disability advice, and everything else in each individual shelter block. When the members did the survey, some of the shelter blocks said we don't need a full-time warden, we don't need a full-time officer. What we need is someone here every day at the same time so we can get that advice, we know they're in, we can talk to them. My own belief is that 150 shouldn't be put on the service charge till these people are in post, because that would be totally unfair on the people in the shelter scheme, as we find a way to do it so that once it's imposed, that service charge can go on. The other one is if you go to pay section 34, you'll find that a lot of money is being put in there for carbon reduction, solar panels, greening strategy. At the moment, all our housing stock meets Band C. We'd like to improve on that and get it further up. So that's why the money's in there. It's the biggest investment programme we've had in housing for a lot of years. And if you add it up over the 20-year period, it comes to nearly £1 billion. We'll be investing in new build and our own stock. The figures are there for everyone to see. It doesn't take too much to just multiply it by 20 and you come to the figure I've just mentioned. Biggest investment in stock, lowest rents in Bedfordshire, and biggest investment in the greening strategy we could come up with. I don't think there's a much better deal available in Bedfordshire for tenants anywhere. But with that, I'll move it, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Are there any questions? No comments? No? Happy to approve? Thank you very much. We now move on to the Luton Tobacco Control Strategy. Peter?
Thank you. The report demonstrates the detrimental impact that tobacco use has on Luton's population's health inequalities, individuals' personal finance and the wider economy. The proposed strategy sets out a coordinated whole system approach to reduce tobacco-related inequalities in Luton that addresses local needs. The overarching aim of the strategy is to reduce smoking prevalence in Luton in adults 18 plus from 15.3 2022 to 10% by 2028 to bring Luton back in line with regional and national prevalence figures. In order to achieve this strategy will be underpinned by a robust action plan focusing on strict priorities, which are working in partnership, preventing the next generation of smokers, supporting every smoker to quit, effective communication, tackling illegal products, tobacco, vapes and shisha, promoting smoke-free environments and policies. The strategy and action plan will be owned and delivered by the Tobacco Free Luton, an alliance of key stakeholders across the system. Therefore, the executive is recommended to review and provide feedback on the draft Luton Tobacco Control Strategy and to approve and adopt the strategy. Thank you.
Are there any questions on the strategy? Are we happy to approve? Thank you very much. I think that brings us to the end of the reports this evening.